going on, everybody? So, welcome to another Monday night. Right here. Raw. On one hand was what? You get it. It's a Monday Night Raw review. This episode of Monday Night Raw was pretty... I would say it was better than the previous SmackDown, but it wasn't that much better, if that makes sense. Like, if you're trying to, like, grasp what I'm saying, it's like, I think I gave SmackDown a 6. This episode was better than a 6, but it wasn't like, man, you need to go out your way to see this. But let me break down to you why I say that. So they start with a Judgment Day. I almost thought to say JD Mcdonnell because he's involved in this, but they start off with a Judgment Day promo where I was about to say Fam Balor, but the reason why I'm thinking ahead here, but Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, that's what I was looking for. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio come out, and they do the usual Judgment Day run the place. But then they started talking about Damian Priest broke down how dominant Finn Balor is, and that he's going to take care of Cody Rhodes later on tonight, which was revealed later on today to be the main event. But he says that though Finn Balor should be out here to tell you this himself, but he's not out here. But he's cool. He's fine with it. But then But then after a while, he just said, you know what? Because Rhea tells him this is not the time and the place to be talking about this. But he said, you know what? I'm over it. We're not gonna just sit. We're not gonna act like they don't know what's going on. They see there's something wrong with the Judgment, and it's Finn Balor, like where's Finn? But Rhea tried to ring him in. Thus bring out JD Mcdonnell. JD Mcdonnell came out and said that he came out not to disrespect Rhea, Damian Priest, or Dominic, but he just came out to tell them that he had a message from Finn Balor, and that Finn Balor said that he will, that the reason why he wasn't out there because he's preparing or some excuse, and that he will take care of Cody Rhodes. And that he would just, he reiterated, I'm not out here to disrespect. I'm just out here to deliver a message. And Rhea says, good, he's getting ready to leave. But then she tells him, now we have a message for Finn Balor. Tell him that we need to talk. And JD complied. But before he could leave, Sami Zayn's music would hit. And Sami Zayn would attack JD Mcdonnell. To where at first Sami Zayn had the upper hand, but then he even to the point where he even got on the ropes to ask Judgment Day, do they got a problem? Because they were just sitting there looking at him like they wanted or thought about it, but they was like, you know what? No, hey, go ahead, JD is all yours. And thus, they would continue to brawl, but JD would get the upper hand, and then it would go to commercial break. Then we'll come back and find out that our first match of the night is JD Mcdonnell versus Sami Zayn, which was a perfect opening match for Monday Night Raw. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to see JD Mcdonnell and more. I'm going to get on to that later because more people are starting to get spotlights now. And like so many people have said, you could tell that Vince McMahon did not have his hand in the cookie jar on this one. But yes, JD and Sami Zayn put on a good match. And a couple times JD looked like he could have won. Hit some impressive moves. But Sami Zayn, after some distraction from Finn Balor, and there's a story behind this because as you could probably already tell, like, wait a minute, you wasn't out there with Judgment Day, but you came out there for JD, and that would be a talking point later on in the day. But yeah, Sammy hit the Haluna kick and got the victory. They did say what Sami Zayn's elbow injury was. But it was I can't remember what what they actually call it, but it's the same injury basically that John Cena had, And I think what I remember when he had that injury, they said it was just like it's an injury where it's a whole bunch of fluid like build up into his elbow to create that like baseball like effect. But I like how they use that injury to basically say that it was brought home by JD Mcdonnell. Gunther will come out. Oh yeah, I told you Sami Zayn won, right? Yeah, okay. So Gunther comes out next and basically cuts a promo about being in Canada or I think they was in Winnipeg. Yeah, they was in Winnipeg. And then he started. He said he always wanted to come to Winnipeg, but then once he got there, he understood why they called them the armpit of Canada, and he he basically started going on a tirade about Alpha Academy and how everybody believes that Chad Gable will be the one to dethrone him, but in the end, he'll fall just like everybody else did, and he'll prove why he's the dominant, as he called it. I think this is the first time. I think Gunther might have said it before, but I never really caught on to it. But this is the first time I ever heard somebody refer to the Intercontinental Championship as the Intercontinental World Heavyweight Championship. But yeah, as he was doing his promo, Alpha Academy, Chad Gable, and then will come out and basically talk down on Gunther and say he will be victorious, that he'll get to hold on to his championship for, I think he said 24 hours, but I think he meant like a week. Their match was announced to happen next week, but he said he will hold on to the championship, but tonight he will take care of Giovanni. And thus, this will go into our second match of the night, which is Chad Gable versus Giovanni Vinci. And they put, you know what? It was actually surprisingly a good follow-up to that first match. Because I was going to say it was an okay match, but then I thought about it. I'm like, no, that was actually a good match. It was an okay follow-up because I enjoyed it more than I thought I was. And it was actually a good match between the two. They matched up very well. And Chad Gable will pull out the victory. Now, there's a reason why I didn't really break down detail of this match. Is because there's a lot more to it. So after the match, Gunther got the mic again and said that he would not let the night end like this, and that he challenged Otis to a match right here, right now. And thus we went right into Otis accept, and then we went to commercial break, came back, and now we had a third match of the night, which is Otis versus Gunther, and they had a very good match. Otis and Gunther put on a very good match of powerhouses and stuff, but Gunther actually was slight distraction, not a little. It wasn't a lot, but it was slight distraction. And Gunther was able to pull off a victory against a impressive victory against Otis, even giving him the power bomb, which I didn't think he was going to be able to pull that off. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to be able to pull that off, but he did. But yeah, Gunther got the victory there. Then we move on to a next match that was brought up by an earlier in the day interview. Matt Riddle was interviewed backstage, and he said that he accepted the Viking Raiders challenge because he knew what was missing, and that he needs a new tag team partner, and that his new tag team partner was he wanted to be which was Drew McIntyre. So he interrupted Drew McIntyre's backstage interview to ask him that, and he said, and Drew McIntyre told him that if he couldn't find a partner by the time his match started, then he would consider it. Then we get to that match. Matt Riddle comes out to the ring, Viking Raiders come out to the ring, and then Drew McIntyre's music hit just to show that because he came out to the ring, nobody came out with him, so because nobody came out after him, it just went to the Viking Raiders. So they waited to see was he going to have a tag team partner or he was going to go at it alone. And Drew McIntyre's music hit, and thus it became Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle versus the Viking Raiders, which was a good match. I think the main purpose here is to set them up as a potential tag team that will face Kevin Owens Sami Zayn, which I don't know what they're going to do with it because I heard rumors that that they were possibly going to vacate the tag team championship and split them so one can stay on Raw and one can stay on SmackDown, and then there was new tag team belts being made. Who knows? But nonetheless, it was a good match between the two with Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle pulling out the victory. I think it was another backstage promo with the two with the Matt Riddle being interviewed, celebrating and like getting ahead of himself like he did with Randy and trying to book him and Drew for future tag team matches because they would have because they was going to win. They felt like they could win the tag team championships. I'm sorry, there was an interview. They were talking to himself, and then that's when New Day came in and basically challenged them to a match for next week. Drew, I would like to say I like that. It looked weird. I didn't notice it at first, but whatchamacallit, King Woods, as I like to call him, because I hate that they really dropped his King title so quickly. But King Woods had dreads, and like I didn't recognize him at first. I'm like, who is that? Oh, that's Xavier Woods. He just got dreads, and I like how they paid tribute to the Montgomery incident by having white folding chairs. I'm like, he knows how to capitalize on some viral stuff that they was indirectly involved in. We got another match that was started because of early in the day where. Well, not early in the day, but based off of what happened last week with when Rhea and Raquel got into that brawl in the Indy, and Candice LeRae inadvertently got involved in it too. This match was brought on by that, which is Rhea Ripley versus Indy Hartwell. Another person I'm glad you're getting some TV time after being. I didn't even realize until like a week or two ago that Indy was, I remember she was injured. Now I thought she was still out on injury, but it wasn't until a week or two ago that I found out that she's been clear for a while, and that they just haven't been using her on TV. And this will be like last week, and now they even gave her a video package. But this was an okay match, mostly dominated by Rhea, but it was still a good match, a decent match for Indy Hartwell. The main point is, they set up Indy as a potential future no one's contender and maybe even world champion, because she didn't get totally dominated, but she got dominated enough. And even when she tried to fight back, Rhea stopped it and hit her with a riptide, and thus Rhea wins the match. But they would get attacked. But because she attacked Candice LeRae during the match, Rhea and Indy would get payback after the match. There was a backstage promo about the women's tag team championships, and basically Chelsea Green wanted to hold our distance like America's Got Talent or something to see who will be her next tag team partner so she could keep the tag team championships. But Piper Niven basically bullied her way after Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, I think that's their names. I might have mixed them up. But they came in and basically challenged Chelsea once she found a tag team partner. And she would get, Katana Chance would get beat up by Piper Niven. And Piper just basically bullied her way into being Chelsea Green's next tag team partner. Shinsuke Nakamura was interviewed by Michael Cole about why he attacked Seth Rollins last week. And pretty much like a heel, he talked in his native language instead of English, so nobody understood basically what he said. Seth Rollins would come out and basically assume that Shinsuke did it because he wanted a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship, and basically accepted the challenge. He said he told Shinsuke Nakamura he could name the place and the time. Now he told him to get out the ring and shake hands, get out the ring so they could sing my song. And Seth Rollins and them did shake hands, but he whispered something in Seth Rollins' ears that caught him off guard. And then as he was leaving the ring, Seth Rollins was just sitting there stunned. Shinsuke would come back and hit him with his Kinshasa once again, so they hear him land in the ring. Then we would get the co-main event, which is Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, which got considerable amount of time. It got more time than the main event itself. And I'm guessing this was a way to, make up to Trish and Becky for pulling a match from SummerSlam. And it was a good match, too. It was surprisingly good. And a callback to, they even did a callback to Trish Stratus' infamous match with Lita, when she also had a face mask, and she just basically all of a sudden out of nowhere didn't need it no more, and she tried to use it as a weapon, or did. I can't remember if she was successful or not then. I think she was successful that first time against Lita. But here she wasn't successful against Becky Lynch. They were brawling and fighting each other. There was a couple of botches from Trish again. Trish pretty much looked like she mistimed her Sonya Blade leg grab while Becky was on the top rope, or she doesn't realize she's that short. That was a botch there. I think they botched something else too. But they were brawl outside the ring, causing a double count out. And they were brawl out on the outside in the crowd, all the way up to where you could buy the shirts and stuff from the little concession stands that WWE sets up when they go to the arena. And but it looked like Becky was having the upper hand. Zoe Stark, I was about to say Tony Stark. Zoe Stark got involved because the stipulation was over, because she was banned from ringside and the match was over with, so she technically could be ringside or where they was fighting at, and she helped Trish get away from Becky. But then we found out from Adam Pearce that there will be he was fed up with Trish Stratus. They've been trying to do Becky versus Trish to end this rivalry between the two, but she always found a way to weasel up out of it. So he said he's tired of it, and that he's going to make sure this happens. And the next time they do Trish versus Becky, it will be in a steel cage. Then we get the main event, which is Cody versus Fam Balor. At this point, I forgot to mention that Fam Balor and Rhea and all them, they followed up on that from earlier when they said they wanted to talk to Finn, and they found them in the back. They was talking to Finn. They got on the same page. They was arguing at first, but then they got on the same page. JD tried to interrupt, or he was trying to say something to Finn, but Finn told him, you know what? He actually did the right thing and told JD, he said, JD, I will find you later. Let me handle this with them. And then thus they got on the same page and waited for on tonight. That would lead into this. And then this was a good main event. I won't say not the best, but it was a good main event because it was predictable what happened. But it was a good fight between the Fam Balor and Cody Rhodes. I enjoyed it, but Damian Priest and them would eventually get involved. Rhea and Dominic came out first and was surprisingly absent Damian Priest, but then Damian Priest will follow. More antics and distractions. Again, the Money in the Bank blueprint came into play on how Cody Rhodes beat Finn Balor, but it didn't matter. After I think he slid the brief while the referee was dealing with Rhea and trying to get the chair out the ring, as I think they slid the chair in the ring earlier, but the referee called it, but he did catch them trying to get them the Money in the Bank briefcase, but Damian Priest overshot it and it slid underneath Finn Balor's legs into Cody. Cody hit Finn Balor with it and hit him with the crossroads. I think he hit Damian Priest with it too as well. And thus he won the match. But afterwards they would jump him. They would jump Cody Rhodes. Sami Zayn tried to get involved and help, but they would also jump him as well. JD Mcdonnell came for help with the save. I think Sami Zayn had a chair and was taking out all of Judgment Day, but JD took out took out Sami Zayn, thus allowing Judgment Day to get the upper hand once again and to end the show with 2 coup de grace to Cody Rhodes. Overall, this was a fairly decent episode of Monday Night Raw. I want to say nothing too much happened, moving story-wise. I mean, Chelsea Green's story got moved. Chad Gable, they did some story stuff with Chad Gable. otherwise, this was a very okay. I mean, they're developing the story with Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura. It was a couple of stories here and there that got moved forward. But otherwise, I'm gonna give this episode of Monday Night Raw a 7 out of 10 big ups, because I felt like it was better, but it wasn't that much better, but it was better than Friday Night SmackDown. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoy my review, you hit this button right there for more of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoy this review so much, you want to support the channel, you guys, you know what to do. Hit those buttons, and as always, hit you one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere, because I got a reaction on the new Call of Duty. I think it's just gameplay. It's a gameplay trailer, but we'll see. So, peace.